Beast, Exo Arena Suit Team for the Nintendo Switch is a brightly colored and recently released mobile port of a 3 vs 3 third-person mech shooter game by bibi. This French game studio is also responsible for FRAG Pro Shooter if you've slid into the free section of the Nintendo eShop. To sum it up as short as possible, can I recommend Beast? No. Why? Its performance is laggy, its gameplay is unbalanced and empty, and its single-player challenges are somewhat busted. I get that its target demographic is that of younger audiences, so its gameplay loop is largely minimalized and simplified, but there still just isn't enough there, and it has some quality problems that severely diminished my experience. Which really counts since, unlike FRAG Pro Shooter, Beast is a paid game. Before we dig too deep into it, I should probably say I'm Sir Armor and I've been focusing on the mecha thing lately. If you'd like to keep up with my channel, do the like, comment, and sub, as that'd be pretty rad. This video itself is a remake of an older video. I was a bit unhappy with the visual side of things and decided to re-record it. I should specifically note that now, in this video, I am playing the game on a Switch 2 console, which released after my initial review, which significantly reduces things I initially complain about in the form of visual lag. It seems to be a significant problem on the Switch 1 that is pretty much non-existent here on the Switch 2, and I would assume would not be a problem on the upcoming Steam release of the game. Granted, I never played the mobile version, so I don't know what it's like over there. Now the long of it. General gameplay, think a children's cartoon version of Titanfall. A kidified Unreal Championship 2 from the original Xbox. The characters in both these games even have voiced taunts.
Fresh the Triceratops, reporting!
Maybe similar to a smaller scale shooter with vibes that of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. You pick a hero and get dropped into a quick match of shooting each other. Each themed hero has their own unique weapon, like Eugene the mad scientist inventor orangutan with his damage over time poison gun, or the live streaming GG Nova unicorn with her healing bot, or something as simple as the cat Clyde with his machine gun. You shoot foes, or these targets around the map that charge up your ability to summon a mech suit. The mech suits have a similarly themed, unique weapon as well as a secondary ability, sometimes even being defensive or team support powers. The mecha are called Beasts. Yeah, Exo Arena Suit Teams. And when you're just in the third-person combat mode with no robot suit, you're called a pet. Beasts are unable to use the jump pads and can't seem to spawn on top of any of the platforms. These robots are ground floor only. Besides specific game type mechanics we'll talk about in a moment, here there's healing pickups and jump pads hanging around the map. As it stands, weapons and beasts are locked to the character. Only the perks have the ability to change. The perks, which in this game are called overdrives, are unlockable, mostly stat changes to your character. Some of them do things like make you jump higher or do more damage against beasts versus pets, or make you heal faster even. Now all the pets can pick only one of these overdrives at a time. Well, except Clyde. He gets 2 for some reason. Maybe this is the start of our balance issues. As for game types, there are only 4, and every match lasts only 4 minutes. A standard no-team free-for-all battle with 6 players. Get the most knockouts to win. We can't call it kills because it's kind of a kid's game. Similarly, a team deathmatch 3v3. There's also a mode called Crystal Crush, in which a crystal node will appear. You blast it till it falls apart, and then you collect up the broken pieces of the crystal, and the crystal node hops to a different predetermined spot on the map. Your team needs to hold 15 of these things to win. Oh, and if you get blasted yourself, you drop all the crystals that you've been holding. Payload, game type. A more different robot is central here in Payload. A player has to manually control it and walk it across the map. It's got a small shield and no weapons. Both teams have to do this simultaneously. Nitpicking about the game types themselves, Free-for-all and deathmatch are okay. And Crystal Crush is okay too. Maybe it'd be better if I couldn't see where the crystal was going to appear so far in advance. Maybe? Really, my biggest gripe with game modes seems to be with the payload specifically. The matches are too short and small to feel meaningful, and it doesn't help that one character has to be locked into the payload until it gets shot down. Basically, on each team, one hero drives the payload, one hero defends the payload, and then one hero is left to fight off the enemy payload. And usually you can't do enough damage to the payload bot to get it down until the match is something like 50% over already. There are bombs in the sky to shoot down, but I struggle to be able to make them hit because they have such a large health pool. Maybe if there were potentially more traps or an extra weapon pickup for heroes like a grenade bomb, or even if the match timer was longer, it would definitely feel better to me personally. Mostly I think the map for payload also needs to be more varied in design and built up. I just really don't care for it. Also, there's no capture the flag game mode. There's no game mode option to play, pet battle only, or beast fight only, or 1v1. In the main story, there was a bunch of mentions of some sort of space ball players, like a bunch of the heroes are retired ball players, but that's also not a playable game mode. That could be a cool thing to bring in. Speaking of maps, considering this game doesn't even have the option to pick specific maps to play in, it could really use some sort of identity here. Basically, there only seems to be a very small handful of map themes, the prehistoric Monkey Stone one, the future city but with snow on it. It's the same map, the Cyber Block Arena, and then the other orange stone block one that looks like the prehistoric monkey one, but this stone block one has some machinery and oil around. I think there's every opportunity here to really expand the map design, not just for gameplay, but artistically. There is a full cast of different and unique characters. We have a dragon hero with fire attacks, but there's not a, medieval castle-themed map. We have a shark antagonist, but we have no tropical ocean island map. We have a bat character, but we don't have a dark, spooky, Halloween-y themed map counterpart. We could definitely use more maps in general, and those maps could even have unique quirks about them based on their theme, like, the ocean map for the shark guy could have water hazards, or the Halloween map could darken at different time intervals. I really want to see an arena set in space, considering the whole single-player story is about this intergalactic sporting event space battle thing. And in that single-player story mode, you can travel via spaceship to 7 different main planets that drive the plot. A further 9 optional side or challenge, or whatever you want to call them, planets exist out there too. Anyways, each of these planets has something like 4 to 6 bot matches to play on it with different game mode and map. Each stage has a specific objective. The main objective is to win, of course, and then it has a couple different challenges, like doing X amount of damage or winning in a certain time frame. If you beat all of the challenge, then you get rewarded with a star, and these stars give you currencies or unlock things like avatars, avatar frames, character cosmetic skins, etc. This would be fine in itself, but I take some issues with some of the challenges. None are optional, so if you want to get the big reward at the end, the character outfit skin, which of course you do, you have to do every single challenge. It would be nice if there was a buffer of a few star points for instances like I am about to explain. The example here, I want to unlock the special outfit for Trish the Triceratops from the Triassic Triumph side planet. On stage 3, called Payload Push, we've got to win. I have to advance the payload 40% myself, and I have to stop the enemy payload 3 times in a single match. Great. We can win easy. We can stop the payload 3 times. Great. That's easy. Now let's do the stage again to advance our own payload and get that challenge over with. Oh, well, the NPC moves faster than I do and keeps getting in the payload before me. Now I gotta wait for the enemy team to blast her out of it, and that doesn't seem to happen until she's already moved it more than 60% of the map, so how am I supposed to complete the challenge? I figured out that I can swap my character to the faster one that kept taking the payload ahead of me, and then I discovered that the enemy NPCs are pre-programmed to walk in such a straight and perfect path that even at my best, they end up being a whopping 1% ahead of me and win the entire match. So now I have to keep repeating the challenge until I get lucky enough that my NPC teammates manage to actually help me for once. And that's my problem with a lot of these challenges. They end up being a lot more luck-based than anything else. Having a team order function to send my teammates after the objective specifically, or to defend an objective, or to follow me, or having the option to just kick them out of the payload myself would really help. Alternatively, having a few extra star points per planet to function as a buffer when the luck-based challenges prove too frustrating for end reward could also help here, especially if central demographic for the entire game is a younger audience. All in all, for single player, if you aren't pressing each stage several times for the challenge completion, each planet takes something like 15 to 30 minutes to beat, so we're looking at a single player game length of only a few hours to maybe like 10. The single player really isn't what I would assume most people are going to play the game for, but it does end up being a requirement if you actually want to unlock the playable characters in a timely manner. Oh yeah, I should probably say something about the plot too while I'm talking about it. So your team is going to this space battle tournament thing, and we really want to beat this shark guy named Finn. Anyways, we show up to a planet and we get approached by somebody who says something like,
"Hey, Stinko Man, everybody says you're the guy, but I want to be the guy too."
And then we fight, and then the next stage, they run away in a cutscene, and then we get another stage, battle, and then we get a cutscene where our team talks to each other and they're like, "Oh wow, that person was actually cool." And then we fight that person again, and then collectively the team all agrees to join forces, and finally the end of the planet is we fight side by side with this character and they get unlocked and join our team. The story's not super compelling, that's pretty much how every planet plays out. One thing I will note though is that if you sift through the stages on the planets, it looks like a lot more map variety was intended. I see forests and trees and giant mushrooms and robots on the map and stuff like that, but none of that is actually like super apparent and differentiated whenever you play the actual map stages. The real meat of the game is in its multiplayer, which pretty much is the same as single player because pretty much every match just gets filled with bots anyways. It's really obvious when it is too, because they move awkwardly and know the precise moment with no error to do things like walk backwards exactly onto a healing pickup. Sometimes the matchmaking works. Kinda. My first match ever was with people who had a prestige rating of like 200. There's a couple of forms of progression to be had here too, besides the prestige ranking of your overall play. That itself plays into a sort of battle pass type system for the individual heroes themselves, and then also there are specific missions to play as different heroes or different game modes that go into the Battle Pass type season progression system. These will unlock more currencies like the gold points for use in the collections tab or overdrive perks, and also avatars and outfits. I will say there is explicitly no microtransactions here, but the format is incredibly similar, and that makes me real worried that at some point in the future the game will be dumped into the free-to-play market and these Battle Pass type progression systems and collection tab options will become MTX markets. Currently, there is also a welcome login event with rewards happening. Log in several days in a row within this specified time period and unlock goodies. This is how I unlocked Trish the Triceratops, which is cool. I had the option to unlock it this way instead of playing the single player challenge planet, but that also makes me a bit frustrated as it shows a lack of consistency. In my opinion, if we want to do multiple ways to unlock certain things, it should be consistent. Certain costumes or characters or perks are only unlockable in certain ways. I want the Santa-themed Eugene skin, but I have to wait until the Christmas event to even begin that within the, Battle Pass system thing. I want to unlock the cake-themed Trish outfit, which is far along in her hero progression, but she has other skins unlocked only in the welcome event, or only in the story mode, or only bought with gold coin reward. I think it would be more helpful to allow progress toward any of these rewards in each game mode. Give me the option to just buy the outfits with the earned gold, or earn them with the single player challenges, or earn them through the multiplayer progression grind. As it sits now, it's a semi-overlapping unlock system mashed together between different reward tracks that is likely confusing for the target player base. The graphics are pretty nice. I do like all the bright and smooth cartoony stuff. It's really neat seeing the whole mecha thing here brought into such a casual and friendly appearance, rather than the more realism, gritty Battletech thing that's typical, or the maybe even more typical super anime stylized flashy Gundam sort of thing. The character design is all fun and interesting, the beasts look cool, the maps are visually pretty good. I just wish that there was more variety in those. Sound, on the other hand, there's a pretty limited number of songs that seem to play, and they're all fairly generic. They aren't overly obnoxious or off-putting, but they're pretty mediocre and forgettable. What isn't forgettable, though, about the sound is the character-voiced taunts during battles. Oh my god, I do not like these. At best, the voices just sound really off to the character themselves, and at worst, it's like nails on a chalkboard with awful furry puns. Some of these characters really get under my skin, apparently. Benefit of the doubt, maybe if I was a kid, still I'd think these were clever or funny or something, but having an option to turn this off would probably be appreciated to someone like me. Okay, now the big problems with Beast Exo Arena Suit Teams. Balance is a big deal on anything that is remotely competitive. This being a multiplayer shooter game is no exception. Certain heroes and certain overdrive combinations are just inherently too strong. I already mentioned Clyde, having 2 perks at a time. But another example here is that Trish's hero ability is a passive AoE heal around her. I use a healing buff overdrive, and she will literally out-heal damage done to her by certain other low-damage characters. I stand there face-tanking their bullets, and nothing happens to my health bar. Another big thing with this being an online thing is lag. Some of it is people playing with slow internet speeds, but I'm talking about graphical lag. Initially, when I was playing the game on a Nintendo Switch OLED model, anytime anyone would go into Beast mode in the entire map, my screen would freeze for a couple seconds. Going into matches, sometimes a whole 30 seconds would pass before the character models would actually load in. I would be playing the matches and everyone would be invisible. It's really annoying that I can summon my Beast, and by the time the animation lock is over, I've lost nearly my entire health bar. Something that is cool, though, is that the game does have the gyro aiming built in. Definitely a benefit to any sort of shooter games that are played on the Switch. Unfortunately, it does have an auto aim that has some sort of auto lock, which makes it so you really don't have to use precise movements. Another thing is that the scoreboard doesn't track assisted knockouts, which means your teammates can kill steal if they get the last shot in. You do all the work, and then somebody else gets the very last hit in, and you've lost all credit. Okay, so I've been pretty critical of Beast Exo Arena Suit Team, but I do genuinely like it. I just wish it didn't fall short at so many intervals, like a staircase missing every 3rd or 4th step. Hopefully future updates will be able to push out a bit more content here and there, issue in some fixes, and maybe some alternative progression methods. I do note the game has been on iOS mobile for something like a year before now coming out on the Switch, and the development team is actively about to drop it onto the PC platform via Steam here soon. Maybe after it's on all of the platforms they'd like it to be, they'll be able to focus on sprucing up the content.